Tonight on FBC News, government steps in to protect property rights and trademark laws. Normal cement supply to resume next week. And Demoda brothers to set up cinemas in Lambasa. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate. Government has stepped in to protect property rights and trademark laws in Fiji. The Fiji Intellectual Property Office, which comes under the Office of the Attorney General, today signed a memorandum of understanding with the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority. This makes FIRCA now responsible for the monitoring of counterfeit goods entering our shores. Devna Ryan has more.
The Attorney General Ayasayat Kayum says if Fiji wants to attract foreign investment, there is a need to implement trademark laws.
So with this MOU, we hope to be able to not just show a commitment to the respective organizations, but also to demonstrate to the rest of the world that we are serious about counterfeit and protecting intellectual property also.
Both the AG's office and FIRCA will work hand in hand to address loopholes.
There may be a certain level of expertise and skill sets that rests in one but doesn't rest in the other, and we hope to complement each other to be able to ensure that intellectual property is protected in Fiji.
Sayed Kayum says Fiji's music industry has suffered in the hands of those who are counterfeiting originals.
Because of the fact you have some local artists who may have some original music, and they go and gather money and spend about $10,000 and cut a CD. As soon as they put it out, next thing you know, everybody's selling it. They just simply gone ahead and copied it.
Laws that were implemented 2 years ago requires suspected pirates to prove they have rights to the original items. Devna Ryan, FBC News.
An 18-year-old Australian student who was part of a schoolies group on holiday at Plantation Island Resort drowned in the early hours of this morning. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro has confirmed the incident, saying investigations are underway. The student was part of a group of 523 students holidaying in the country. Australian media report the school leaver was the vice captain of a private Catholic college in Brisbane. A statement from the Ministry of Information says the government extends its sympathy to the family of the deceased. Tourism Permanent Secretary Elizabeth Powell says it's a terrible tragedy and thoughts and prayers are with the family. Powell says the government stands ready to assist the family in whatever way it can. The Australian High Commission in Suva has informed the family of the deceased and necessary arrangements are being carried out. The local cement shortage will end next week. A breakdown at the Fiji Industries mill outside Lami has seen the only local supplier being forced to ration supply. Edwin Nund reports.
This mill was built in the early 1930s, before World War II. 80 years down the line, it's bound to have a few hiccups. The latest is a mechanical problem that's seen a drop in the 11,000-ton monthly supply.
We have supplied 8,000 ton, and at the moment we still supply at a very slow rate of whatever stock we have.
The mill should be up and running within the next 36 hours, and hardware stores should receive their first full supply within the next week or so. FIL keeps about a month's worth of cement on standby, and that's been sustaining a little of the demand from the construction sector.
We have on the third week now, and we still have some cement to supply to major projects.
Wanga Vakatonga says until the mill is back at full strength, major projects and government works have been given priority.
As we are just supplying our major customers, the retailers and the bulk bag customers, standard in the Humes, we are doing at the moment is try to make sure that the bigger projects still carries on.
Over the last 3 weeks, people have been calling up asking for cement, only to be turned away. FIL has assured by next week things will be back to normal. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
4 men who allegedly murdered a 21-year-old Nandi boat captain last week have been denied bail and remanded in custody by the Nandi Magistrates Court this afternoon. The 4 are Vilimoni Nayatalevu, Ulayasi Glen Randike, Anare Mara and Kelemendi Sevura. State lawyer Levi Sovau objected to bail, citing the seriousness of the matter and the tension it had created within the community. The court was told Vilimoni Nayatelevu was 18 years old and could stand trial after initially being advised that he was a juvenile. The case will be called for mention on December 18th. People in the northern town of Lambasa can soon expect new cinemas to open up. The Department of Town and Country Planning has received an application from Damoda Brothers Films Limited to set up 2 cinemas in Lambasa town. Devnaran finds out more.
For years, the people of Lambasa have been deprived of some good and up-to-date entertainment in the movie world. Elite and Diamond Theatre were the only 2 cinemas in Lambasa, but their operation ceased a while back. So, in what will be good news for Northerners, Fiji's cinema giants, Damoda Brothers, is heading your way.
We've received the plans of land dealings, where the model will go, where FNU will go, side by side with the model.
This cinema, which once used to attract people from all walks of life, has been closed for over 5 years.
People do not come here. We wrote to the PM's office many times but haven't heard anything from them, so less people continue to come, and the cost of getting new movies is expensive, and that's why we had to close our operation.
Damoda Cinemas have confirmed their interest in building the Village 2 cinema. Devnaran, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, we meet Fiji's very own Willy Wonka. Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. The Water Authority of Fiji says it'll do all it can to help the FMPF get China Railway 5 to pay all superannuation contributions owed to its labourers. The Chinese company has failed to meet its November deadline to settle all FMPF dues and is pleading for more time. Mikalonga has been following the story.
China Railway 5 has publicly admitted it can't meet the Water Authority's November deadline. Today the authority says it will maintain pressure on China Railway to pay up all FNPF due to its labourers. It has begun talks with the FNPF on how it can help, even saying they could be forced to withhold payments to the company.
We will assist the FNPF to be legal in this matter and do the right thing.
However, Rolly Hayes says they will approach the matter diligently.
We do not want to see all of this turn into some messy business where we don't get the pipe laid. At the end of the day, we want the pipe laid. And they've been laying it for us, and I hope we can continue to have them lay it for us.
China Railway has asked it be given until the end of the month to settle all FNPF dues.
We're not going to assist the Chinese to cheat the system in any way. We want to see legal compliance, and we will talk to FNPF about how we can best help them achieve that.
Mikalonga, FBC News.
A Kenyan national who allegedly smuggled drugs into the country has been remanded in custody by the Nandi Magistrates Court. Pamela Kinye Angira is charged for importing illicit drugs and being in possession of amphetamine. She has been remanded in custody as state lawyers await drug test results from Australia. Angira will appear again on December 17th. She arrived in Fiji on August 24th on a one-way ticket, arousing suspicion. Back after 7 years, the Lami Light Carnival hopes to bring with it more awareness on the effects of climate change. The carnival, which opens tomorrow, aims to educate the public on how to better care for their surroundings. Akosita Tale with more.
What was once a dull and dreary place, Tikram Park now has a new and vibrant appearance following the reclamation of the Lami foreshore and its new seawall. The work done here is testament to the adverse effects of sea level rise that's affecting our island nation. And it's because of exactly this that the Lami Town Council has come forward with a climate change project.
Of local government, we got together and did something like a wall that should stop the tidal waves from destroying our shoreline. As you can see, there's a lot of reclamation done there, improvement done to the wall. At the same time, people can have access to the beach as well.
September 2005 was the last time residents in Lami witnessed the Light Carnival. After much talks and discussions, the Lami Town Council has decided to revive the carnival, this time with a clear purpose.
A substantial amount of funds was used for that particular project. That is the improvement and the upgrading of Tikram Park. That's in two parts actually. First is the actual reclamation to handle issues like climate resilience, and then the next one is the putting up of a brand new podium.
And it doesn't end here. Jasper Singh says they are focused on next year's town development. There are talks of planting more mangroves along the Lami foreshore and educating the public on climatic issues. Aksita Talei, FBC News.
It's that time of the year again when towns and cities are painted red, white and green, signifying the much-anticipated Christmas season. And who would miss the many different Christmas carols? It's true, the Christmas spirit is indeed here. So let's join Shireen Lata, who takes a look at the different signs that makes the Christmas season all the more Christmassy.
Christmas is a time to be jolly, a time to be merry, and certainly a time to enjoy. And one would agree that the first to make the Christmas season more noticeable are our shops and supermarkets with their attractive Christmas specials and loud Christmas carols. But they aren't the only ones. In fact, nature has its own way of celebrating this joyous season.
This one here we call it secular because it blooms only once in a year. That means it always shows up whenever Christmas is near. That's why you call it secular.
Christmas also brings out some of the best floral colors.
Actually, all flowers are meant for Christmas, but these are the flowers. We call it chale. This is the one that blooms during Christmas, and it has the smell too, scented one, Yeah, and for all these common one, this common endurium, it blooms throughout the year, and some gingers. See, for this one too, this comes out during the Christmas, from the month of October, December, January.
And I bet not many of us would be aware of these small pineapples.
Normally we have these pineapples, that fruit that comes up during this season, and this flower, this miniature pineapple do give full bloom, as you can see, during this time, Christmas time.
For our fruit lovers, there's never a worry during Christmas.
During December, we have pineapples and watermelons in season, and there is a huge demand for it as well, especially during Christmas.
While many of us may be expecting Santa this season, try to take a step back and enjoy what nature has to offer. And while you are at it, remember the true reason for the season. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
And it's time for sports with Jamie. And the road to the 2015 Rugby World Cup started this morning with the pool draws. And it's not so good news for Fiji.
You can say that again, Jackie. If we do qualify from Oceania, our Ruggers will face some of the toughest teams in World Rugby. We'll take a look at the pool draws after the break. Also tonight, Suva Soccer builds up for the CVC with new faces. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching FBC Sports. The 2015 Rugby World Cup pools were drawn this morning, and it's not good news for the Flying Fijians. Should the side win the Oceania qualifying playoffs, Fiji will face not one but two former world champs and a European powerhouse. Indra Singh with more.
Oceania 1. The road to the 2015 World Cup has started. And what a mammoth task the Flying Fijians have should the team qualify for the tournament. While Fiji are the top bets to make the cut from Oceania, it is the pool of death which will be our biggest hurdle in England.
Yes, actually it's been a tough pool for us, and right now we have to work hard, double our work rate.
For the third successive World Cup, Fiji could face Wales, and also amongst the mix are former world champions Australia and England.
We are working on our development, on trying to push our competition in the local competition.
Meanwhile, teams have learned their fate for the 2015 event, with our neighbours Tonga and Samoa being placed in much easier pools than the Flying Fijians. Male's task has just become harder, but the former national skipper has vowed not to give in or give up. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Suva will be the underprepared of the two teams when they face Mba in this weekend's Pillay Garments champion versus champion in Lautoka. Shalvin Chan spoke to Suva mentor Gurjit Singh, who says his biggest worry is fitness, as not all players have been turning up to training. However, some new reps have boosted the team.
The CVC will be a game unlike the IDC, and Suva will be up against a team who are known to be the best when it comes to the 90-minute game.
The fitness will play a very, very important role. And if you look at Bar team, they had been playing together in the club championship, and 2 rounds of club championship they played together, and they also played in New Zealand, so they might be fit. They will get fit within a week, but our players, they need to really work hard this week.
Suva has chosen Churchill Park to host their game, knowing too well the venue will be favouring their opposition.
We won't be having our soccer fans in Lautoka. We'll be playing against the fans, but as I said, the biggest problem is our fitness. If the boys get their fitness back by Thursday or Friday, then we'll play a good game against Mba.
The Whites has been boosted by Jonas Nadewa and Ravinesh Singh, and Nandi defender Semi Rokungida.
Semi Rokungida from Nandi, then we have Ravinesh Karan Singh from Tavua and Jonas Nadewa. And these are some of the replacements for the other players who are not in the squad.
Suva may also miss the services of their captain Simeone Maikali. This Sunday will be a real test for Suva as they aim to become Fiji's football champs. Shalvin Chan, FBC Sports.
2 former Fiji swimming sensations have returned to the competitive world of swimming. They'll guide 2 other youngsters to the FINA World Swimming Championships in Istanbul, Turkey this week, with world rankings and new personal bests as the goals they've set for the event. Elena MacDonald reports.
It's not 1, but 2 rays of light that Fiji can welcome back to the competitive water world. Former pool queen Sharon Smith fronts the team to Turkey.
We talked about it and we looked at the qualifying times for Worlds in Turkey, and we thought, we got a bit excited thinking, okay, she can train for it and start. So we put pen to paper and I decided to start coaching seriously.
While 2-time Olympian and national record holder Caroline Puamau has also decided to have another go on the international scene.
The last competition I swam in was in Samoa for the South Pacific Games. That was back in 2007. Then it was a break. I had my son, Caleb, who is now 4 years old. And it was just the beginning of this year where I started training again. And with the help of Sharon back in coaching, that has motivated me big time.
And it hasn't been easy.
We had a time trial and I was pretty, it was an eye-opener. With the intensive training, I've been, missed out for 5 years. The body is in shock, and I was able to cope up. Like I said, when you're having a coach who motivates you, just keeps you going.
This pair will leave our shores tomorrow with young guns Paul Elisa and Thierry Eresito, and with high hopes leading up to 2013. Elena MacDonald, FBC Sports.
Will it be Army or Police that takes the early lead in the Sukuna Bowl Challenge boxing finals tonight? Fights are underway at Suva's Civic Centre Lower Auditorium, and from yesterday's encounters, it's been a tit-for-tat situation between the two sides. The Fiji military forces got the upper hand on numerous occasions, but it was the police who made up for it with tactical moves. Army boxers did well in the middleweight division to impress their supporters, while Police's Viliame Vitu Kalulu stood out in the heavyweight division to beat RFMF's Tomasi Saunganga. The Blues also ruffled feathers in the welterweight division, proving tonight's finals will be a sight to see. And that's it from Sports Tonight. Business is up next.
ANZ has responded to comments from the Commerce Commission of possible collusion in price fixing between the Blue Bank and BSP. An ANZ spokesperson says the accusation against ANZ is not true. The spokesperson goes on to say that ANZ sets its interest rates independently based on official cash rates, the price of customer deposits and wholesale funding markets. Commerce Commission Chairman Dr. Mahendra Reddy yesterday told FBC News that they are now looking into whether there could have been any possibilities of collusion. A Japanese couple who now call Fiji their home are becoming famous for being the first to make chocolate in the country. While many don't know, Andi chocolate is the first Fijian-made chocolate slowly gaining popularity not just locally, but around the world. Christopher Chand reports.
Hidden inside this small office at Namaka in Nandi is Andi chocolate, rapidly growing and already winning awards for export. What started as an experiment is now a family business. Tomohito arrived in Fiji in 2005 to start a new life, but it wasn't until 2007 that he stumbled upon a cocoa pod, which was going to change his life forever.
So we put it on, waiting, never get ripened, but it's getting harder. So we decided to open, and we, try to, suck the fruits. And then we look at the seed, and it looks like, oh, this looks like a coffee bean or something. We didn't even know what it was.
He literally taught himself how to make chocolate through research via the internet, and after months of trial and error, Andi chocolate was born. Not long after, he was selling them to resorts, and now he's exporting to Japan, the United States and Australia.
Everybody is, doubting, oh, where do you import the chocolate? And everybody says, and I said, no, we're just grinding the cocoa from Fiji and grinding the sugar from Fiji. No, you can't do that.
This small chocolate company will soon expand to a bigger factory on Denarau. By then, he hopes to start selling them in local supermarkets, alongside other famous chocolates like Cadbury. But for a chocolatier who makes chocolate every single day of his life, does he ever get tired of chocolates?
I never get tired. Every time I'm so exciting. Like, you can ask my boys there. Uncle Tomo keeps saying, this is the best chocolate. This is the best chocolate. I eat every day. I don't know how many times a day, but...
Tomohito is our local Willy Wonka, producing unique handmade Fijian chocolate, which is now being widely used at our top resorts and is becoming a hit internationally. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Weather time, and Genevieve joins us with the latest weather update.
Thanks, Jackie. I'm craving chocolates now. Now, it was mostly fine in the friendly hours this morning, but the same couldn't be said for most major centers as they experienced rain in the afternoon. Mombasa steals the lead on today's temperature chart with 34 degrees, while Savu was the coolest with 29. The forecast for tomorrow is for more rain, especially in the afternoon. And cloudy periods with some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands is forecasted for the beginning of the weekend. For mariners, a strong wind warning remains in force for the Vatuira Passage and is now also in force for the Kandavu Passage. Here's hoping for a rain-free Christmas.
Government steps in to protect property rights and trademark laws. Normal cement supply to resume next week, and Amoda Brothers to set up cinemas in Lambasa. To our opinion poll now, is coach Ali Ferretindere to blame for the Dubai Sevens loss? To answer, go to www.fbc.com.fj. Remember, you can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's all tonight from the FBC News team. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Bye for now.